What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. We got Christian Peter here. We're talking about Injective, the ecosystem and the blockchain that's built for finance. Christian, what are your thoughts?
Oh my God, Brown Jet, this is so insane. Since we did our airdrop stream last week, Cosmos is just going nuts. I know that you've got a lot of slides in here about what's happening with Injective especially, but yeah, this entire ecosystem, guys, is blowing up right now. I mean, the airdrop potential that people are seeing is just off the charts, and we're going to go into a lot of it today. I'm super excited because I'm not a huge Cosmos person, and Brown Gent, I know you are, so let's get into this.
Awesome. Yeah, like honestly, like a lot of us, I mean, EVM chains and sort of, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Avalanche, they're all great. But one of the biggest challenges that I've had, and I think a lot of us have had with these chains is when they get popular, they become so hard to use. When Ethereum was super pumping the last bull cycle, it was a miserable experience to sit there on chain and try to do anything. And now Avalanche is facing very similar concerns. In the summer, it would cost you a penny to transact. Now, when I try to transact, it's like $40, And who knows if that will sort of ring true as well for the sort of the Cosmo ecosystem. But as you can see here, the average transaction cost is less than a penny. Their block time is 0.86 or zero point 0.8 seconds. And this timer keeps ticking up. It's literally 382 million on-chain transactions. This is the fastest layer one blockchain that's shaping the future of finance. And it is reflected in the way the price has moved. This token was like a couple dollars about a year ago, and it's just going up. Like everything has gone up in the last few weeks, right, Christian? But look at this graph. This thing was going up like this year, the start of 2023, right? Like sitting here at $1.25 about 1 year ago, right? And now up 3,800%. And it's on a pullback. This is after a pullback.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely nuts. I mean, look at that hockey stick. It just goes up and to the right. And, the way that these things have just exploded here, just over the last 30 days, even. I mean, it's gone from, under $10 to what, over $38 right now. I mean, just totally nuts. The way that these airdrops are going to come is through staking. I know that we shared a lot of that on the last video that we did. But yeah, getting into what's going on with Injective, a lot of the different chains inside of Cosmos it's got me super excited because we talked about what Injective, Celestia, Atom, Kujira, and there was one more. What was that?
So we did Osmo, Celestia, Injective, Atom. Did I say 4 or 5?
I
You know
think there
what?
was five. Yeah,
There's
and there was
an
this
easy way to see this is right here.
there
So
we
Atom,
go. Now you
Injective,
do.
Celestia, Osmo, and Kujira. Yeah, the 5.
So, I think that there's just, Injective being one right now that's just gone absolutely crazy. Like Celestia, like, Atom has not gone as crazy as the others have so far. But right now with Injective, I mean, there's so much happening. I mean, let's talk about what are some of the things that are going on with Injective.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Injective, it is going to stand on its own, but I think it benefits a lot from what a ton of the other IBC tokens benefit from. So as you mentioned, right, the airdrops are so important. Everyone in this ecosystem stakes as much as possible to maximize their airdrops. If you take a look at people who share, like if you look at YouTubers who talk about Injective, who talk about Atom, who talk about others, and when they show their Kepler dashboards, they're not sitting there with those tokens unstaked. They have them pretty much all staked so they can maximize airdrops because some are quantity based. And because every time a new sort of chain comes out in this ecosystem, every time a new protocol comes out, they reward the stakers of the most important tokens. So when you stake those tokens, they are taken out of the circulating supply in terms of having additional sell pressure. So when tokens go up, these tokens aren't selling because it takes 3 weeks to unstake or unbond them. So you don't pay a penalty in terms of a withdrawal, but you have to wait 3 weeks. And for those 3 weeks, you're not earning any interest and you're not qualifying for any airdrops on those tokens. So there is a significant cost, but it's not costing someone their tokens. And because of this is actually reducing a ton of sell pressure, right? So this is fantastic for everything, but Injective is super exciting. I'm in their Discord a ton. They do AMAs very regularly. The team is very transparent. They really, I get such a good feeling from the team. The last time I got a good feeling from a team like this was like DeFi Kingdoms. So I sit in on this AMAs. I hear about what they're working on. I hear about their partnerships. I hear about like the protocols they're bringing in, and so does everyone else. And they're trying to make sure that they are very clear. Look, we are specifically going to be the blockchain of finance, right? We're not trying to do everything. We're trying to do one good thing, and we're trying to do it really well. And I also think, and Christian, we talked about this, they also have other tools to support the needs of sort of all blockchains, right? So I had some Solana that I was trying to sell mistakenly when it was $40, and I was trying to sell it and put it into MetaMask. And it was the hardest thing ever trying to get something from Solana over into my, Ethereum or Arbitrum sort of base chain. And what I ended up doing was I went through a centralized exchange. Injective actually functions like a wormhole, and it allows you to sort of pick any blockchain you want, and you can end up at any other blockchain, and you don't have to go to a Coinbase. You don't have to go to a crypto.com or anything like that. So if you don't have KYC, this is even a better solution for you.
That is so cool. Yeah. Injective offers, a really great protocol. The chain is going to be, it's going to be one of those things that people use all the time. And there's so many things getting built on top of it right now, all the different protocols that are happening, and staking your Injective on these is going to give you access to those airdrops. And it's not, these are not small airdrops by any means, guys. I mean, these things can be thousands and thousands of dollars. I think we just saw the Celestia airdrop, which came from staking Atom, and that one was like $10,000, $12,000 worth of the TIA token. It's just like these airdrops are very large in size, and you don't have to do much more than what Brown Gent and I are going to talk about tonight on the stream.
Exactly. And as a good reminder, if you are interested in sort of earning some airdrops, number one, watch the video we did a few days ago. I'll link it in the description below after. And basically, here's what the consensus is, that here's a token allocation you want. So you'd like to get 50 Atom, 50 Injective, 50 Celestia, 500 Osmosis, 200 Kajira. Now, of course, Christian and I understand that not everyone can hit these amounts, or maybe something is overbought right now and you really don't want to do that. Try to get as much as you can, build a small position at a time, recommending to aim for at least $100 in each token. This has typically been the threshold that most projects will look at, and that will at least get you some component of an airdrop, hopefully. And we are, like, as Christian mentioned this last time, we're starting the bull market, and that is when all these projects come out. And this is when airdrop season really takes off. And you really don't want to sit there and go and be the person who buys Injective after all the airdrops. You don't want to be the person who buys Celestia after all the airdrops happen. You want to get in early. If you're watching this video right now and it's not Christmas yet, 2023, you're early. And as a reminder too, the best way to stake, as always, if you have your Kepler dashboard, which you can find by going to your Kepler app, click on the Kepler dashboard, go to chains, pick the chain in choice. In this case, we check Injective. As I mentioned, I want 50 Injective. I only currently have 13.9 Injective in my account. 13.4 is staked, and I have it staked with Black Panther and Talos Protocol. And it's because we mentioned last time, by staking some Injective to each of these validators, we can earn potential airdrop from Black Panther and from Talos. These two are coming up with an airdrop, and they've both been vocal that if you stake with them, this will be a criteria for their airdrop.
Yeah, that's definitely true, guys. I mean, Black Panther and Talos are the two that you want to stake with in order to be eligible for that airdrop. But check out that percentage APR that you're getting while you're staking as well. Right next to the My Validator section right there, you can see that 15.77%. So even while you're waiting for these airdrops to happen, you're still getting additional injective. And so that's what people are really excited about, is that you don't have to take your money out of circulation and just sell it off and wait for these tokens to come out. You're still earning while you're waiting. So that's one of the nice things as well. Isn't that cool?
I think it's also really cool that you're earning your APR in the injective token. So if the injective token goes up, it's actually even more than 15.77, because any injective you've earned in the past, it is also seeing the benefits of all of that. And then you can take that and restake your sort of dividends, if you want to call it that, right?
Right. And that's why people are so excited, guys, at coming into these ecosystems and buying them up, because they're earning APRs like this on top of just getting these airdrops, getting prepared for these airdrops. And what do you think is going to happen when these airdrops come out? They're going to take their tokens and they're going to sell them into other things, and they're going to put them into the next one. They're not going to, when you get the Black Panther airdrop, or when you get the Talos Protocol airdrop, you're going to get more injective and you're going to stake it in the next one. So, the tokens that, Brown Jet was referring to, you've got to lock these up for 3 weeks. So it's not like once these things happen, they're just going to take their tokens out automatically and go to the next one. You're waiting for 3 4 or 5 weeks, even after they're done, then taking them out and then going on to the next protocol. But people aren't selling their injective and dumping out of it and moving ecosystems. They're going to go from airdrop to airdrop to airdrop, as just like you mentioned, Brown Gent. This is airdrop season. We're at the spring of crypto, where once the summer happens, they called it DeFi summer in 2020, guys. I mean, we haven't even hit crypto airdrop summer of 2024 when these things go absolutely crazy.
Exactly. And Christian, based on what you said, do you want to help McLovin? By the way, I love Superbad. But what would you assume would happen to Injective? Now, I know they're asking for a price target. Price targets are hard, but given where we are right now, if we were to look a year from now, what is your guess for the way or what'll happen to Injective?
Yeah, guys, whenever I look at different protocols like this, I always look at the market cap, the circulating market cap and the fully diluted market cap. So that's going to be your best indication of value for almost everything when it comes to crypto. You don't want to get distracted by what a token's price is, because that's just indicating what the market capitalization is on that specific token. So you might see something like, Bitcoin, which is at $45,000, and then you want to check the market cap. So you know exactly what that actual token times the supply is. That's going to be your market capitalization. So in this case for Injective, we've got a price of $38 or so. You can see that the current market cap is right now about 3 billion, a little bit over $3 billion. That's going to be your market cap right now. That's a pretty healthy market cap for this. That's why people are saying, just like you were, Brown Gent, that we've gone up so dramatically that we're kind of in that overbought zone where people are, they're enthusiastic, right? They're excited. They're excited about these airdrops coming up. Does that mean that it's going to go down? No, probably not. People are going to get more enthusiastic once they start seeing, like, oh my God, this airdrop just came out. Then these people get FOMO, right? They're like, oh, they just had the Talos airdrop and people made $10,000 just by staking Injective. I want to do that. So this could easily double, triple, quadruple in value. Will it do that? I don't know. I mean, but what we're doing, like we talked about, is that we're actually earning along the way. So if it does continue to go up, we make a little bit of money. If it goes down at all, we're still making that 15% APR on what we have staked. So as long as the token doesn't completely collapse, which it doesn't sound like it is, at least until a lot of these airdrops come out, we're in pretty good shape either way. And, when it comes to price targets, I'm always reluctant to say, oh yeah, this is going to go to the moon, because I started to think that way in the last bull run. And these tokens can do completely different things than you're expecting. I mean, you could have that miniature token that goes up and does 100x, but when you've got a pretty healthy market cap, like $3 billion, could it make it to $30 billion? Sure, it could. But that's a 10x from here, guys. I mean, it might be 6 billion, it might be 9 billion. That's still a 2 or 3x. That's pretty good. What are your thoughts, Brown Jet?
Yeah, so I completely agree with what you said. I think there's going to be a ton of FOMO, right? Like, we haven't actually really seen it come into play yet, where having the stake Injective matters. Once people see proof of concept, this always happens. Once the snapshot is taken, that's when people go, oh my God, people are so lucky. I can't believe I'm late, blah, blah, blah. And then the the pain people will feel from missing out, right? People
Right.
will do more to avoid pain, right? So they'll do whatever it takes to prevent that from happening again. Maybe they missed out, then they'll get in. And remember, you have a buy and a sell button on Injective. But for a lot of people, the sell button is going to be kind of disabled for 3 weeks. And what's going to happen is you're just going to see, I suspect, more buys than sells because of it, especially as more and more noise is made about airdrops. There's going to be a point in time when there's going to be project after project after project. And I remember the last time we had the super cycle for Cosmos at the start of it, and I fell victim to this the first time. So my buddy, I talked about him last time. He got in because one of his friends said, "Hey, buy Atom, buy Osmo." He was sending me this back when I was buying, like, I think I was buying Jewel at the time actually, and he was buying Osmo at like 5 cents. And I was like, "This is stupid. Why would I buy that?" He's like telling me it's a different thing than MetaMask. I'm like, "Oh, so complicated. I don't want to know this stuff." All of a sudden, I'm seeing him like send me pictures. I got $10,000. He put in $1,000. What? Like, I'm sitting here like, it's that easy. He didn't do any. He didn't know anything, and he was getting that money hand over fist. And guess what I did? I started buying Osmo way higher than they did. Way higher. It was 5 cents. At the end of the cycle, it was around $10 a token.
Yeah.
Right. So like, all the airdrop noise creates tons of momentum. I think what's also very interesting is this is very important. So we're about to flip. Injective sitting at 3.2 billion. Atom is sitting at 3.3 billion. We're about to flip Atom, right? Once that happens, that is huge because I haven't seen an IBC token do that yet in this space. This is going to be very, very big. And, like Christian said, I hate giving price targets. Another thing is also people get upset if you say, "Hey, something's going to $200 because maybe it goes to 190, but Brown Jen or Christian Peter said it's going to 200, so I'm not selling till then." When you feel it's gotten to the price where you think it's overbought, oversold, whatever, feel free to trim, do whatever you need to do. But we're only here to sort of tell you what we think is going to happen and the logic behind it. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball. If we had a crystal ball, we'd be out there like, lottery tickets and stuff, not so much dealing with crypto. I mean, probably buying crypto with the lottery tickets, but crypto is as clear as day. It's a really good bet. And you got to ask yourself, risk versus reward always. So at this point in time, are we more likely to be overbought or underbought on Injective? I think we're closer to the local top, which is why I think there'll be a bit of a pullback. It was actually sitting at $41, $42, I think, for Injective. It's come down a tiny bit. Same with Atom. But I think once you get a good ROI, so maybe if Injective goes to like $31, $30, it becomes a more lucrative buy. And I think that is where it becomes a little more profitable. Now, that being said, that's a short-term mindset. If you have a long-term mindset and you want to just buy and hold and sort of like close your eyes and not care, very different story, because long-term, probably the next year and a half, as Christian said, I do think this is going to go up drastically. Whether it goes up 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x really depends on the rest of the ecosystem and what they're competing against, right? Injective is a fantastic narrative. What about the other narratives? What about, like ZK Sync, right? ZK Swap. Like what about all of those? Like, what about every other initiative out there? Because it really depends on that relative to everybody else. And I think that's going to help determine who really gets sort of the share of voice in the next year and a half. You saw right now, Solana at almost $100. Do you think it would be $100 right now, Christian, given everything that happened with FTX, given that we were at $8 about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago? No, sorry. What am I saying? A year ago, we were like $8. And now we're like 12x that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, guys. I mean, when Brown Gen had that chart up there last, with Injective, you could see the 1 year return, and the 1 year return there at the bottom, right above where McLovin's comment is. You can see, at 30-day returns almost 200%, or 140%, but the 1 year return 27x. 2,700%. So if you had bought Injective a year ago, you're up 27x. And Brown Jet was just talking about Solana, which is great. It's up about 8 or 9. And it's the big narrative of everything right now. But this is the time when you do your research, when you go into the discords, you listen to the AMAs, you see what kind of tokens you really want to get involved with. And some of them are going to run, and when they do run, you figure out what the next token is that you're going to want, because these tokens do have a tendency to do these parabolic moves. And if I had bought Injective at the beginning of this year, trust me, I'd be selling a lot of it. I mean, because you've made a good deal of money and you go on to the next one. But you have to do your research. You have to find what the projects are. And I always recommend taking a handful of them. And Brown Gent's already gone through 5 that are great right now. But you can stake into all of these different Cosmos protocols, all these different chains, and have a great way to make passive income all throughout 2024. So this is just the beginning. We're just getting into, and this is the time when you get out there and you do your research and you find the Black Panthers and you find the Taluses and you say, great, these are protocols that don't have tokens, and they're very big. They're going to be, these are the ones that are supported by venture capitalists. There's a lot of money that's already in them. There's a lot of desire to have a token at some point in the near future. And when there's a bull run, guys, that's when everybody launches their token. You'll see initial coin offering after initial DeFi offering after initial game offering over and over and over again. And usually the tokens pump when they first come out. And that's when the VCs, that's the exit liquidity that they're looking for. So we're going to see a lot more of this as we get into the summertime. And one of the catalysts that's out there, Brown Gent, that we haven't even talked about yet, right, is January 10th. That's when the SEC has to make a determination on which one or many of the Bitcoin ETFs are going to be approved. And all they have to do is, give one of them a green light. If they give 10 of them a green light, then all of a sudden, boy, talk about the billions, if not trillions of dollars that we're going to flow into crypto, because all these people are waiting for their vehicle to be able to get into the market and not have to go out there and set up a wallet, just like you were talking about, not have to go out and do the research. They just want to have that easy, okay, this money's coming out of my 401k every month and going directly into Bitcoin. But at some point, that money, as we know, guys, makes its way down the ecosystem into all the little protocols, because once people make a little bit of money in crypto, they want to find the next thing that makes them a lot more. Injective here has a great narrative. Just like Brown Gent was saying, it's a cross-chain swapping protocol where you can take tokens off of one chain and move them to another chain very easily without going through a centralized exchange. I love that narrative. I think it's got a lot of room to run.
I'd say 2 things to that, because one of the considerations that I've been sort of making is, typically I would never buy something sort of even at $30 given where it is, right? But I've also told myself that I'm doing this. I'm willing to take a short-term loss if I need to here to earn the airdrops that'll more than pay for this in the future. So that's sort of one of the ways sort of I'm looking at this. And the one thing I'll implore you guys, it's never fun and exciting to do the research, but I would rather you do the research now when you have an opportunity ahead of you than want to put all the time in after the fact. Nobody wants to put in the time until they've seen proof of concept. But by the time proof of concept comes out and you see why it's so important, maybe you're watching this video 6 months from now and you're like, oh, I wish I bought Injective or whatever back then because some airdrops have come out. Well, you may have missed some of the bigger ones already. And now that ROI for you on either buying Injective, because maybe the token's up 2x, 3x at that point, maybe some of the bigger airdrops are gone. Maybe that ROI isn't there as much as it is. So while right now, all we have is opportunity ahead of us. Now's the time to put your time in. Now's the time to go into those Twitter spaces, go on the Discords, go in, learn, read the white papers, go on the test nets, do all the things to explore, because if you do that, you won't regret it. However, in 6 months, if that's after hearing all the great things that went through and going, oh, well, I wish I had done it, but I didn't have time because, I want to go out partying with my friends, all that stuff. Great. You got to give up something. And I think what we're recommending is we have a huge opportunity ahead of us. Do it now. And, one of the things I will say is I just had dinner with a friend and, we call people who aren't in crypto seriously, like normies, right? Like regular people who aren't crypto enthusiasts or whatever. He asked me, hey, did you ever end up buying that Avalanche token you told me about last summer? Dude, I heard it's doing amazing. Should I buy in? I'm like, I don't want to buy in when it's $12. What are you talking about? We were at the casino and I'm like, dude, Get this token. He was buying CRO token. Get this token. And he's like, oh, man, this Avalanche thing's doing really well. And then he's like, oh, this Mara thing you told me about, it's doing really well too. I can't believe it. It's up like all this thing. Should I buy it? I'm like, we're not telling you to buy it. It's like $6. Like, what? Like, that's the thing. A lot of people, they look back after and go, wow, now I want to do it. I wish I did it. But you have the opportunity now. Now it's all potential. In 6 months, a year from now, that's not the case. In 6 months to a year from now, don't come to us and say, hey, should I buy Injective at $200? If it is $200 at the time, right? Should I buy Injective? They just released 5 airdrops. I missed all of them. They were big. Now's the time to decide. So do the research, figure it out. And we're going to help you tonight in this video to sort of understand that. So if you're interested in Injective, it's available in pretty much every DEX, right, Christian? Like we can go to pretty much any DEX within the Cosmos ecosystem. One such example is Osmosis Zone. There are hundreds of DEXs. You can even buy it on your centralized exchanges. I bought my first Injective actually on crypto.com. Where did you end up buying your Injective from, Christian?
I actually I use Coinbase, so I just usually buy Atom. Then I get it onto my Kepler wallet. Then I can swap it into anything that I want to, and that's been the cheapest and easiest way for me to onboard into Cosmos. I'm not a huge Cosmos person, as you guys know, and I was in Terra Luna when it blew up, and so they just it put the brakes on everything. I was in Solana big, and Solana blew up. So we rode these protocols down, and now we're at that point where it's that springtime and you can see what's happening to the token prices, and I'm just so excited to get back into some of these things and do the research again. And I love the fact that people are looking at the Cosmos ecosystem as the airdrop haven for 2024. I was researching this narrative for the last couple of weeks, and I was so glad, Brown Gent, that you said let's hop on and talk about airdrops, and Cosmos being one of them, because this is going to walk you guys step by step on how to get in here, how to get your Injective tokens, how to get them staked, and how to start earning those airdrops. So this is cool. I'm glad that you brought up Osmosis, because this is another place where you're going to want to staking some of your Osmo tokens.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think one of the things you could do as part of the airdrop strategy is if you know you're going to go and sort of buy some of the tokens, think about some of the protocols where you want to have done some transactions with, so that instead of doing these fake transactions after the fact, just like, just swap $10 here for $10 or something else, use those when you're actually getting onboarded into the ecosystem. So if you want Injective or you want Kujira, go on some other DEX and swap there. Use that functionality. And that way you're getting 2 birds with 1 stone, and you don't have to sit here and just go, well, I'm going to, only use this DEX. Because I used to do the same thing. I used to only use 1 or 2 DEXs. And then I had to do all these airdrop qualifier things. And I'm sitting here like, for no reason, $10 of USDT to $10 of USDC. Like, why am I doing this when I could have actually done this and for something real, and it would have been a substantial amount too, right?
Yeah. So definitely, guys. I mean, you want to go out to these different protocols and start using them, go through them, see if you like them too. I mean, I think that the nice thing about Cosmos is that everything's very easy to get in and out of. There's no really difficult things to find other than setting up your Kepler wallet the first time. The rest of it's very easy. And that's what I like about it, is that there's no confusing portions to try to figure out. And Brown Gent and I will walk you through this stuff, but it's really easy to do. I'll create a video too that kind of takes you step by step really quickly, because I like doing those. So it's like 5 minutes where you can just go boom, boom, boom. Okay, I want to try to get the Talus airdrop. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm in position to get it. That's what you want to do, is just get your money in, let it sit there, let it collect interest, hopefully let it qualify you for all of these airdrops. And then, once you've got one, I'm excited about that for you guys. I mean, once you've got an airdrop, once you actually get one and you like, oh my God, I just made $8,000 from this airdrop. That's the best feeling in the world. And that's when you leave those comments that's like, holy crap, I just made $8,000 because Brown Jet told me I could make money from this and it worked. That's so cool.
100%. No, that's dope. As part of any sort of research, I think, Christian and I would be remiss if we didn't tell you to check out the white paper, so you can see a lot of some of the stuff we're talking about in the back end, right? So learning about Injective, learning about the token, sort of their proof of stake security, their gas and fees, sort of how the transactions work. Maybe if you want to look into the nodes and validators and some of the resources. as part of this video, and Christian, if you're making videos on Injective in the future, if you ask the team, they actually have like a brand catalog. So they sent me a link. I had to make sure I verified it with them first because it was like a Google Drive, whatever. And I'm like, hold on a second. I don't want to open up these Google Drives on one of my computers. But basically, it was all of their logos and sort of the guidance and what fonts and everything else to use because they take this very, very seriously to have sort of some kind of consistency there. So McLevin's back with another question asking about the Volan upgrade. Are you aware of this upgrade, Christian?
No, I'm not. I have to do some more research on Injective myself, McLovin.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and there's a ton of airdrops that are coming on. You just need to be careful though, because some of them are going to be small and some of them are going to be really big. And so I think Brown Jet and I are going to go through a couple that we feel are going to have substantial value to them, because a lot of these protocols have tokens, but it just depends on how much you're going to get from their airdrop and how much that token's going to be worth, right? You don't want to get a million tokens of something that's worth 0.00001 cent. You want to get like 1,000 tokens of something worth $500, right? That's what
yeah.
we're trying to do.
You want the big protocols to have to earn their airdrops because everyone's gonna give an airdrop. And like I said, like Christian said, there's gonna be tons which are like good and tons which are just trash. Like Celestia was fantastic airdrop. But then we've gotten airdrops for things that will end up being complete junk. From what I've heard, at least I think I heard this in today's AMA. The Volan upgrade is supposed to happen, I think, in Q1. It's supposed to just add like interoperability, like more of it. So like it's to bring like EVM developers, like that their goal is to bring more EVM devs into the ecosystem. They said they want to make the transactions faster. Imagine that. They think right now that the 0.8 seconds is not fast enough. And they want to make it faster than that. So there's a ton of work going on there. I think they had a few other things, security and everything else. But it's, obviously, I think this is going to be fantastic. I think this is going to add a lot more eyes and a lot more decentralized applications to this ecosystem. And we need one of the things that we need in these ecosystems is to make them user friendly so that in the future these can actually be utilized for their intended purpose. Right now, Ethereum in its current state, no one's going to use it to like, if you buy like, I think we used the example last time. If you go to the store, buy a $150 pair of shoes. Oh, that's going to cost you an extra $60 to sort of use this transaction. Oh, sorry, the card didn't go through, but we that $60 is gone. You got to pay another $60. These are things people want to avoid, and also having to wait a long period of time. Like with Avalanche, I talked to Trader Joe's team. I know you had a Spaces sort of thing scheduled with them that got rescheduled, and I talked to them yesterday. I'm like, hey, I submitted a transaction for 0.3 AVAX, and I still haven't gotten the swap. What's going on? Oh, you got to increase the gas. I'm like, what? Like it's ridiculous. So the more we make things faster, the more we make things secure, and the more we have everyone involved, like having sort of more development teams that can work on stuff. It's sort of the difference between like what we saw with the PlayStation and why it did so well versus an isolated system like an N64, right? You got N64, which was only using Nintendo specific games. This is before, right? And then Sony PlayStation, no, anyone can develop and build a game and we'll put it on here. And that model ended up being so successful that companies like Sega, who had actually, and I don't know why I'm going through the history of gaming, but Sega actually turned down the first prototype of PlayStation. And now Sega is a games maker, not a console anymore. So this is the thing. You want developers not to be like restricted to just one or the other. The more developers that we have access to, this is going to make this a lot better for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And now seeing that the Volan upgrade, I think that is going to bring a lot more, desirability, because you have what's going on Solana too, guys, with the new Fire Dancer upgrade, which is going to bring 1 million, they're saying, or over that 1.2 million TPS to Solana. So transactions per second on Solana is going to be absolutely insane. Not that it isn't already, but all these chains are trying to be the settlement layer for everything when it comes to crypto. So when you're competing against them, you want to have the highest throughput at the lowest cost, and that's what all the chain's goal is to do.
Yeah. And, it doesn't mean that even though we don't have EVM full compatibility yet, Injective still has a ton of applications, and these applications will continue to grow. And you can see on here, these are the applications on the main net. But if you go to the test net, you can see sort of applications that are sort of not on mainnet yet that you can still access. And if you're interested actually in getting onto the test net, you can use the faucet. So the faucet will, if you put your Injective address in, which is found in your Kepler wallet, found in your Leap wallet, you can actually request for some Injective to be sent to you on the test net, and then you can go play around. And this actually might qualify you for future airdrops, which is once again, fantastic. But also, you want to learn the ecosystem, because if you truly want to put your money in something, you want to know what you're investing into. It's not just about, hey, I like the name, or I like the picture, or I like the logo. It's, I like what the ecosystem does. I like what they're sort of. I love their why. Christian, have you ever heard of Simon Sinek?
Yeah, I love Simon Sinek, and he does a ton of great content out there, and yeah, he's a great guy. But Brown Jet's exactly right. On this test net too, you can go and play around for things for free, and then you can see if you really like the dApps that somebody's building. And then you can go into their Discord or into their Telegram, and you can chat with the team and see if they're really good and they know what they're doing. And that gives you that research that we've been talking about, guys. This is how you research. You find that little diamond in the rough, that protocol that nobody's too sure about, and you're like, hey, I played with this on testnet, it was really fun, it was kind of a cool thing, and now I've got the possibility of not only getting an airdrop but getting into it and getting some tokens before anybody else. But I didn't want to go off the subject, but yeah, Simon Sinek's a great guy. What were you going to say about him?
No, I'm just talking about his power of why, and sort of like, remember, like, what, like, or do you believe what Injective believes in, right? They want to create something where it's going to make, like, sort of, I don't want to call it traditional finance, but finance easy on the blockchain. And it's sort of, if you believe in that, then you want to go check out everything they're trying to do here and sort of see how all that works, because maybe this is sort of aligns with sort of your view, right? I love what they're doing, and I also love sort of the needs they come up with, right? So fast transactions, cheap transactions, security, and I love doing a lot of trading and having dexes here that have very minimal swap fees, low spread, almost non-existent transactions, like fractions of a penny, and then having this be an ultimate backbone. And they're bringing a lot of more applications in. So in their AMAs, like today, they were talking about a few more applications from other ecosystems that they're actually bringing them in here, and they continue to bring them in. So they talk. I think their AMAs are almost either every day or every other day. But every time I get a notification, I'm in there. And if you're interested, you should join their Discord, which you can find on pretty much any Injective page on the bottom. Find the logo, and then check out their AMAs when you get a chance to. But they got a ton of sick apps. This is the test net, but you can see over here. So we got a bunch here. And then if we go over here, Black Panther. Christian and I talked about this. I think it was a few days ago when we did our airdrop video. But this is one of the two validators that you want to stake to if you want to, qualify for their airdrop. And they have an incredible opportunity right now that, depending on when you're watching this, December 22nd. Oh, wow, their APY came down. It was 1,400, literally like, oops, what am I doing? Okay. Their APY for their Injective USDT pool was 1,400, literally like earlier today. And it was 1,400 for like the last 5 days. So somebody put a ton of money in. I don't know, but it's still very good. And you earn the rewards in the form of what's called points. What do you think of this, Christian? This sort of vault or liquidity pools?
Yeah, we talked about this on the last airdrop video that we did, guys. But all of these protocols that are out there right now, like Black Panther, they've got incredible ways to go out there and earn APR and get points. And when these protocols start giving points, that's usually a good sign that you're going to qualify for an airdrop. Depending on how many points you get, that's probably going to be the size of your airdrop. But yeah, look at the Injective USDT pool. I mean, Brown Gent was just saying it was, the APRs were over, 1,000%. Now they're still 700%. That's still unbelievable, right? And those are the fees that you're getting. Those are the transaction volume that you're getting just by people that are trading Injective USDT right now. So when these tokens start getting traded so much, they go up. The trading fees go up, the APRs go up on the pools that are associated with them. And this is just an example of how you can make money on top of your money while you're hopefully qualifying yourself for this airdrop.
Yeah, and these work very similar to most liquidity pools. I think some have changed. This is a double staking liquidity pool. So you have to stake equal amounts of Injective and USDT. It gives you sort of these vault tokens. And then you get, so the claim rewards is not available yet. So it's not showing the true amount. I think it's a bug on the website. The Discord's been talking about it. But you can deposit your vault token and then it just sits there. And then you can unlock it whenever you want. But there is a 1% withdrawal fee when you do so. So it's not like some protocols, if you withdraw immediately, it's 8%. And then after a couple epochs, like I think DeFi Kingdoms went all the way down to 0.25, I believe, after like a few, I don't know, 8 epochs or something like that. This one is a straight 1% across the board. So you're not locked in. And those, what's it called? Those rewards will be in point token, which will have a specific value as well, tied to sort of that APY. So really cool. And you can see on the dashboard, if you click here, like it tells you sort of how much you have. And the way it shows right now, it says 276 is the value, or 275. Half of it's in USDT, half of it is in Injective token in sort of way. But yeah, it's very simple. But once again, this is another way. And if they're incentivizing their staking of Injective in the sort of validator, you can probably assume that if you staking in their vault is probably another helpful criteria to pad their airdrop when it comes out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. So these are all the ways that you want to qualify for Black Panther, which we know is going to have an airdrop here beginning of 2024. So a couple of months they're going to be doing their snapshots. They're going to look and see who's in the staking pools. They're going to look and see how much transaction volume's gone through, and they're going to say, great, you qualify for X amount of tokens.
Exactly. And you want to make sure that happens for you. So then the next site we'll show is probably what's called the hub or Injective hub. So we can do sort of what Christian said earlier. So this is the 15.7% APR that you get when you stake your Injective tokens in Kepler. They like let you delegate, so you can stake here. You can calculate your reward. So like if you have 10 Injective, by the end of the year, you get 1.57 Injective or $59. You can slide the scale up and it shows you the amount. So interesting feature if you want to sort of learn about sort of what's going on here. If you go to your wallet, it just shows you how much Injective is in your wallet within your Kepler wallet and then your ERC balance. Then you can actually like join the Injective Ecosystem, and it shows you all the things that you have in the Injective Ecosystem. So I own some meme tokens, sad. I don't say sad to say, but there are a ton of meme tokens. You got to be very careful because anytime an ecosystem comes up, everyone always wants to create the first Pepe, the first dog token, the first whatever token on there. And a lot of them are just like pumping up crap. But what is interesting is if you get in early enough when they first launch, everyone still jumps in regardless. So all the things you see here, these are trace moon bags that I leave after I've taken my profits, but it's all captured here because it's captured within the Injective wallet. What's interesting here, Christian, maybe we'll talk about this, is the Injective bridge. So one of the things that's really cool about this is Injective functions as a wormhole, right? So typically, if you had something on an EVM compatible chain and something in IBC, they're like two ships passing in the night. The only way to sort of transfer between them was to go to a centralized exchange. Maybe there are some other solutions. I don't know them. But what's really cool about Injective is Injective acts as that miniature hub. It's almost like Harmony, where like you kind of want to be the bridge in between everybody. So you can select a wallet. So let's say I select, I don't know, Arbitrum. You don't see this because I'm not sharing my screen, but just the window. It's switching my MetaMask to Arbitrum, or sorry, my Rabi to Arbitrum. And now you can see here, it puts my what my wallet address for Arbitrum up there. And now it'll always transact the basic token. So in this case, it's Arbitrum for Arb. If it was Polygon, it would have been Matic. And it would send that to Injective. Once it arrives within Injective, you've got to use an app called Helix, which is another one of the dApps. You go in there, you open it up, start trading, and you trade. Where is it? Go to trade here, swap, and you swap whatever you transferred over to Injective or to whatever token you want, and then you send it out on the other end back through the Injective hub. So then I go here. Now I have Injective token. Now I'm going to send it to, I don't know, Solana. And then boom. You just got to change the wallet to whatever the Solana wallet is on Phantom. Boom. Much better than going through a centralized exchange. Much cheaper. The fees are, once again, pennies. And this is why I love this ecosystem, because every time I do things on other chains, Avalanche, Ethereum, I'm paying an arm and a leg. And getting to do this for a fraction of a penny makes this feasible for people who aren't just whales, right? $40 means nothing when you're transferring $1 million, but $40 means a lot when you're transferring like 500. Like that's like 10%.
Right. Yeah, yeah. These things are incredibly useful, incredibly needed, and it's nice to see this in action because I haven't used Injective before in the past. So you Brown Gent, who's somebody that's been in here and been using these protocols, it's really cool to see what their benefit is and how how people use them and why there's that desire there and why the token prices have been going up so significantly because there is utility and people are able to use them. A lot of the things that you'll find too, guys, is that when it comes to bull markets especially, there's going to be a ton of vaporware. There's going to be all of these protocols and all of these chains that say, oh yeah, we're the best, we do all of these things, and it's complete vaporware. It's nonsense. They don't work, right? There's nothing actually there. There's so many of them that'll launch and say, oh yeah, we're great, we're the next Ethereum, we're the next Solana, and they just don't have any. They don't work. They're not working yet. That's not to say that they might not work in the future, but a lot of times that hype alone will get them to just explode in market cap, or they'll go up to $1 billion. It reminds me a lot of the .com bubble that happened in the early 2000s, where if you just put a .com on the back of your name, all of a sudden your company was worth $10 billion. Well, that's what these blockchains are trying to take advantage of as well. But it's nice to see these Injective protocols working because you have this whole ecosystem here. It's all working, it's functioning, it's doing what it should. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, it answers a question a lot of people have. Like KYC is, I don't want to say it's relatively new, but I think given sort of some regulation, I think the last year and a half, 2 years, there's been a lot more requests for KYC. Some people want to keep the government away from their dollars, don't want them to know what they have. But so going through a centralized exchange is the last thing they're willing to do. Having something like this, not only is it cheap, because if you go through a centralized exchange and you transfer, you're paying like a 3 to 4% spread when you make these swaps and everything anyways, right? That's what sucks about the centralized exchanges is they do it on the quantity. Whereas if you do it in a DEX, I believe for the most part, yes, there is a percentage swap fee, but majority of the time it's the gas fee and that's fixed, or at least it's been fixed for the amounts I've used. I've tried doing $10 on Ethereum versus $5,000 on Ethereum. It's been the same gas. Maybe it's slightly less. Maybe the swap fee is less of a proportion, but I think it's really, really cool. And we got John Matos Links in the building. So John is actually living, I don't want to say living in Canada, but John is typically playing poker maybe 10 minutes away from my house while on vacation. So I'll be meeting John Matos Link, who's a DeFi Kingdoms player, I think on the 26th, when Boxing Day, when I go play poker with some friends. He'll be there. He's playing higher stakes. So looking forward to that, John. Welcome to the stream. One of the other sort of protocols here is Astroport. Call themselves the future of trading. I have spent so much time on Astroport in the last few days because when I'm getting some work done or I'm watching, like, I don't know if you watch South Park, Christian, but they just had this episode come out about Prime, Logan Paul's drink. Yeah. So I was watching it, and on the side I had like some of their like tokens in this ecosystem on the side, and I'm just swapping back and forth on Dex Screener, looking at the charts and you can trade Ethereum here. You can trade you can trade a lot of the tokens here. And once again, the spread is so small, and you can do it in USDC or USDT. You can do $10 at a time. Trade for $10, trade back for 13, and you're still paying a penny or whatever. So for people who are interested in building up an account, learning how to trade, I love this platform. Such a easy to use DEX, and you can go there out there and practice for very little and actually build up a bankroll if you're interested.
Guess who got the Astroport airdrop?
Who?
This guy.
You did?
You can see the video I did on it, but yeah, it was about 2 years ago. So Astroport was huge. It came out on Luna, and I was like, man, this is great. They're going to have the first real major DEX when it came to the Terra ecosystem. And I was like, I locked up a bunch of Luna tokens and I think UST tokens as well, and was about a 4-week or 6-week process or something like that. But yeah, I got a ton from the airdrop. It was a big one. It was probably the largest one that I had ever gotten, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to do everything that's needed in order to get this Astroport airdrop. But then obviously when the Luna ecosystem imploded, it's good to see that they switched change now and that they're actually still thriving. It's kind of like the DeFi Kingdoms tales, right? It's like, okay,
Right.
one chain implodes and you've got to make a quick exit if you've got adapt that can adapt and go on to another chain. And it's nice to see them, being able to switch ecosystems now and still be able to benefit and hopefully be able to grow here.
No, that's awesome. I had never heard of Astroport until a few days ago. In fact, I had to go back and remember what that thing was, because this is where, when tokens launch on Injective, like the meme tokens or whatever, they typically get listed here and something called Coin Hall. So I was like, where do I buy this INJ Inu? Because I was like, whatever, it just launched. It's been out for 5 minutes. How do I get in? I need to get in right now. And the person who was talking about it was like, you get on Astro Pro or something, and I'm like, well, how do you spell that again? And after that, I just kept going to it. So now, if I type A on my browser, it is the most used website, at least in the last little while. I'm just like click, 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 click. So it's pretty cool. I love it. And once again, if you want to trade, I think one of the things we're in crypto is people who want to learn how to trade. I think a lot of people have asked me before. I'm probably going to do some videos. I'm sure, Christian, you probably will do some videos on that too. Maybe we'll do a collab. I would love to do a trade and chill stream where we just have a trade thing up, having discussions with people and everything, to show people how easy it is, in the sense of what you should look for, look at the charts, and doing it with such low fees. One of the biggest problems with trading in the real world, or outside of these things, is when you're doing trades, you need big swings to make money, because otherwise the fees eat you alive. That is not the case here. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Brown Jen. I think that we should, I love helping newbies when it comes to crypto, and I like breaking down everything. I mean, even in this video, guys, we're getting into into some higher level advanced topics that probably a lot of you may not understand or may not know when it comes to AMMs, the automated market makers, and swaps and fees and transactions and cross chains, and doing all that fun stuff. But when you break it down, it's very, very simple to see what blockchains do and how they work, and what why they're going to be revolutionary when it comes to any type of financial instrument. So once we start to get to that point and people are like, wow, why were we ever back to centralized everything? It should have been all on a blockchain, because all these transactions are completely transparent. Anybody can go out to any address and see exactly what somebody traded for, what the fees were, what went on behind the scenes. There's no black boxes like there is in the transaction in the financial system right now, where you don't know what any of the large Wall Street firms are doing, because they all talk amongst themselves and they all do things behind closed doors and nobody knows what's going on. But on the blockchain, everybody sees everything, so it just makes everybody's life a lot easier when you can say, oh, BlackRock traded this over here and Fidelity traded that, and the US government did this and the Saudi Arabian government did that. It's so cool to see. And at some point, I'm hoping here in the near future that people will get out of traditional finance, at least a little portion of their portfolio, and get into decentralized finance like Brown Jet and I, where everybody can make money from airdrops.
Yeah, love it. I love that. And one of the things maybe I'll show here is, you can see, it's below the slides, but I was mapping these things out yesterday and sitting here and like literally like just every time it would bounce off the line, just buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and just kept doing it. And like if I go to one, I don't know how often you use this website, but I love like going on here and where's my wallet address? I can find an Astroport. Basically, like going through here and oh, by the way, I bought DeFi Kingdoms.inj, just so you know, Christian.
Oh, you did? Did you get some Jewel?
Sorry?
Did you get some Jewel?
I bought Jewel myself, but not on here.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So like you have to, part of one of the things I was doing for another campaign was trying to register an INJ domain. I'm like, oh, DeFi Kingdoms, I can transfer it. So like if the team ever wanted it, I'd give it to them, but I just wanted it in case I had it for like, if there was an airdrop for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, why would I want the brown jet.inj? So
Yeah.
I click here, copy address. Let me just show you here and paste here.
So is this the in whatever the token is, that meme coin?
Yeah, INJ Inu. Right?
Okay.
So you can see here, I bought some for 2 INJ, 253, and then I sold 140 for 6.7. I had a lot more left. You know what I mean? So I just kept doing a bunch of trades back and forth, buying and selling. Making a couple. Sometimes it's like 0.05 inch, sometimes it's 1 or 2 inch, right? So very, very good. There's one transaction here that will stand out because I would never have made this transaction. My buddy lives in the UK and he wanted the INJ Inu token and I'm like, it's a little overextended. He's like, well, I can't trade in the UK. Well, I'm okay. If you want, send it to me and I will buy this for you and I will write it down so we know how many tokens you own, right? But pretty much everything you see here, it was just like buy, sell back, buy, sell back. You can see just a bunch of matches, right? So I have a spreadsheet where I tracked all of this and I was just like, keep churning while watching South Park and doing all this other stuff. Because it's like, hey, whatever. But this is how you can make money if you sit here and know how to trade. And the fees, like the rake is not going to kill you. The rake on some other platforms would make this impossible. And yeah, so we showed you Helix. So that's pretty much it. Christian, I know you got to go and prep for another stream you're doing. Before you go, we talked a lot about sort of decentralized versus centralized. And I did a video on this yesterday, but did you got to check out Wallet Guard?
No, I haven't seen Wallet Guard yet.
So Wallet Guard, let me just show you quickly, and this is for everyone. There's a video sort of detailing it that I did yesterday. Check this out. This is a browser extension that you can get. It does 2 things. The first thing it does is it will check your current wallet. What issues, what red flags, what leaks exist. So I'm going to hit like scan now. It is literally going to scan my MetaMask wallet. This is the one I connect. I can connect Kepler. I can connect whatever I want to it. It's going to tell me any high risk approvals, any sort of issues with any of the transactions I've done, any honeypots, any places where the wallets are out of date, any hacks or exploits, and tell me here are things you should consider fixing, right? Because this helps you without having to go in and sort of, oh my God, like what should I be worried about, right? If you like sign the wrong thing. In this case, there's 4 things for me to revoke, 3 of which I have 0 of the assets, so I don't care. The other one is $52, so I'm like, all right, fine. I'll do it, but the gas was high when I was going to do it, so I didn't touch it.
Gotcha.
Other thing it does, and we talk about this a lot, it actually can find all the apps for you, so you don't have to bookmark everything. So if you type in, like, for example, search for Uniswap, it'll find Uniswap, give you the official one. You don't need to sit here and like go into Google, because sometimes Google ads, they would have paid for, some fake wallet trainer. And the last thing that's really cool is if you ever went to a malicious website, it would tell you. And not just that, before you sign any contract, it would pop up with a screen and tell you, hey, this is what the contract will be trying to do. Are you sure you want to do this? So it'll say, this thing is going to try to take all your NFTs. Yes, do you still want to proceed? So while this is not the only thing you should do for security, this puts another barrier in front of people who will try to take your assets. I love this tool. And since I started using it, I can't stop talking about it because so many people will like do something really fast, be careless, make a careless mistake, and lose everything because they typed in DeFi Kingdoms, forgot an I, went to some website, connected their wallet, said yes, all of a sudden all their assets are gone. And I've heard this story so many times. And while this will not be 100% protecting you, you want to put every barrier up in front. So if you're not perfect, you at least have some protection. And you should do scans like this very often to make sure, like it told me yesterday, my MetaMask is out of date. So I updated it right away because sometimes hackers can take advantages of exploits that were, kind of covered in something. You know what I'm saying? So really cool tool. Check out the video if you want more details.
That's great. I love that wallet card. Do they give you a sponsorship or a referral link or
No,
anything, or you just
no,
like it so much you
nothing.
wanted to talk about it?
Christian, I love this tool. Like literally, the first person I thought of is our friend Eric, who dealt with a bunch of security issues and I spent hours with him trying to help him with revoke cash and all that stuff. This thing does it even better because you can have 1,000 transactions that you can revoke through the revoke cash thing. This flags what the scary things are for you. And yeah, I'm not getting anything. This is a completely free service. Check it out. Like I tell everyone,
That's awesome.
security hygiene is so important. It's hard enough in this space with influencers shilling a bunch of shit, with a bunch of stuff being pump and dumps, with projects coming in, like you said, vaporware, right? Tons of rugs. After you sort of avoid all that, imagine you made money and then you lost it because you're up for 48 hours, you're playing the mad boar hunch, trying to get the next gore blade or whatever, and you clicked the wrong damn button. And because of it, you went to the wrong site, you lost everything you have, and now what? I see that happen so many times. Even if you click the wrong link, it will protect you. It will tell you, be careful. It will say, this thing isn't a known wallet drainer. Like I've seen the examples. It's incredible. And I really hope in my opinion, I think this should be I hope, because this is a free service and it's an open source service too. So unlike unlike Ledger, they let you see all the code and everything too.
That's great.
These guys, this is an incredible tool. And like I said, I get nothing from it. Check it out. I love it.
So guys, that's worth the price of admission right there. Make sure that if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to Brown Gent's channel. Make sure that you're giving him some love here because he's out here giving you guys the alpha way before anybody else. This is all time sensitive. Wallet Guard, that's an awesome tool. I'm going to have to check that out myself. But yeah, let's finish this up here.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, I know we're streaming to Christian's channel as well. Like, share the video, subscribe to both the channels. Also let your friends know, right? Injective is a really good narrative. It may or may not be the right blockchain for you. Find out. Do the research now. Do the research now for when, if you do like it, there's an opportunity and this sort of lines up with what you want, you can get in the Discord. You can go to their AMAs. You can sort of hear about what's going on, earn the airdrops that are coming. Like Christian said it very well. We're about to start airdrop season and all these projects are going to come out and they're going to be creating tokens. And every time projects come out, they are going to be incentivizing people who use the most popular chains because they want to get attention from them. So this is probably one of the most popular. It's about to flip Atom. You have an opportunity ahead of you. Do it. If you're interested now, like I said, I do think the price is a little bit overextended. I'm willing to bite the bullet for a certain amount of Injective just so I can qualify for the airdrops. The amount I'll make on the airdrops will be more than I lose potentially on this in the short term. Long term, expect that to do well. We got 2 noobs here. Take a note, subscribe, like. Jump is the Jump Capital. What's Jump?
Jump is Jump Capital. That's the one that's doing the Solana validator right now. So that's going to be Fire Dancer, which is going to allow them to do the 1 million, transactions per second. So yeah, definitely. And some alpha for you guys as well. I'm wearing my ZK Sync t-shirt. ZK Sync is still in its it's continuing to do its beta right now. And if you haven't already, you kind of missed out when you could bridge some coins over there when I first started talking about it, because right now, like exactly what Brown Gent said, the gas fees on Ethereum and using the bridge to get your tokens to ZK Sync is absolutely outrageous. I mean, I think the last time I tried, it was like $78 for gas. So you don't want to go to something and try it out and have to spend $100 just to find out if you're going to make $100 airdrop. But when it goes down in value, and a lot of these Cosmos, chains are going to be much cheaper. Like I said, we go out to Coinbase. At least I go out to Coinbase. I buy some Atom. It's next to nothing. There's no real fees other than the centralized exchange fee that you pay, but then you bridge it, directly to your Kepler wallet or whatever wallet you're using on Cosmos. You can go and try out and use all of these protocols. You can stake on all of them. It's just a fraction of a penny for gas. So it's so nice to do. It's so nice to use. And that's why I like it, is that I can tell you that, hey, here's what you can do right now. You can qualify for some airdrops. You can do it, and it's not going to cost you a whole heck of a lot. And just follow what Brown laid out there for you. I mean, $50 here, $100 there, maybe $200 or $300 on the most expensive one. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Just try a couple of tokens and a couple of different protocols, and you should be qualified for a lot of these upcoming airdrops that are going to happen.
Yeah, love it. And by the way, so Christian mentioned ZK Sync. I always say the ZK swap or whatever. I always screw the name up. But one of the really cool things you can do is there's a website called Interact. And Interact actually rewards people for doing a ton of activities. A lot of the activities are mapped to stuff that gets you airdrops, and a lot of these protocols partner with Interact to get them visibility and get more people. I don't want to call them airdrop farming, but just getting some visibility on sort of the protocol. And some of these things are on-chain transactions. As you can see here, I have completed for everything because I did all of them. If you're interested in doing something like this, it exists not just for ZK Sync, but it exists for pretty much everything. So buying an NFT on Zonic, bridging OFTs with Merkley, getting a registered name on ZK Sync. I might have gotten the DeFi Kingdoms one there, or maybe I didn't. I think someone else had it if I didn't. But these are some of the things that you can do. So check this out. It's not just for ZK Sync. It's literally for pretty much every protocol out there. This is some other alpha. Want to thank you guys for watching. For myself and Christian, thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next video.